Hello everyone, Dana here from Dana's Electrical Services, and in today's video I will be going through 10 ways on how to make your Wi-Fi faster. And I'm not even going to waste any time, I'm just going to jump straight into it. Number 1, right placement. The first key to making your Wi-Fi reliable is finding the right placement for your Wi-Fi router, right? So you're going to try to put your Wi-Fi router at a central location. So in your house, office, or whatever the building may be, try to put it at a central location, and you want to make sure that it's elevated, right? As it relates to the central location, the Wi-Fi sends signals evenly around it. So if this is the Wi-Fi router, right, it's gonna send signal. Let's say I'm just gonna throw out a random number, 1 meter away from the router, right? So all the way around it, it's gonna spread the signal 1 meter. It's not gonna send it 2 meters to this direction and 3 to this direction and 1 to that direction. No, that's not how it works. It sends it evenly right around. So when you put it in the central location in the building, then it will evenly spread throughout the building, right? If you put it to the front of the building, then you're gonna realize that outside of the building to the front you have Wi-Fi signal, and then you might realize that to the back of the building, inside of the building, you can't pick up the Wi-Fi, right? So you're going to try to put it at a central location and ensure that it is elevated, because the way in which a Wi-Fi router works is that it sends signal down, well, out and down, right? So down and out, or out and down, right? So if the Wi-Fi is elevated, if the Wi-Fi router is elevated, you will have a better spread, right? And whatever the device is that you're using, whether it may be your computer, your phone, it's best if the router is higher than that device, right? That way you're more likely to get good Wi-Fi signal from it. There's a lot more I can say about right placement, but time is limited. I don't want to waste too much time. So just try to find the right location. The two key things is to remember is to elevate it. So if you have a 2-story building, it's better to put it at the top floor, right? Versus to put it on the lower floor, right? And remember, put it at a central location. Number 2, try to reduce interference. So there are some equipments or appliances that can cause interference with your Wi-Fi signal. One of these things are microwave, right? And you have things like a refrigerator, right? And a lot of Bluetooth devices. These things interfere with your Wi-Fi signal. So try not to have these things too close to your Wi-Fi router, because they will reduce the signal range, right? Just like how the amount of walls that your Wi-Fi signal have to pass through to reach to your device, it will reduce the signal, right? That can also be considered as an interference. The amount of walls that the Wi-Fi signal has to pass through to reach to your device. So at all times, try to reduce interference, right? And we're going to jump straight into number 3, which is repositioning the antenna, right? So to be honest, the antenna has a sweet spot, right? So if you realize that your Wi-Fi is not working so good, you can play around with your antenna and see if you can find the sweet spot. I don't know if you guys remember the TV antennas from back in the days. They have a, let's just say your car radio, or I don't know what I can use as a good example, right? Some people might know the TV antenna that I'm talking about, right? They have a certain position that you can set it to get better signal, right? That is similar. Well, the principle is not the same, but it's similar, right? You can set your Wi-Fi antenna, your router antenna, at a specific direction where you might get better range versus if you set it in another direction, right? So you can try repositioning your antenna. Number 4, you're gonna disconnect unnecessary devices, right? So the more device that is connected to your router or your Wi-Fi is the more traffic that it has. So if you have some devices that you connect that is not really necessary, right, to be connected to the internet, disconnect them and you will see a major difference, right? So all those devices that you don't really use but they are connected, they have things running in the background that is using the Wi-Fi, and it is eating up some of the Wi-Fi data, right? So it's more traffic, right? At the end of the day, you only get a specific amount or a limited amount of internet, right? And the more device that you have using it is the more or the less each device will get to use. So in layman terms, I'll put it this way: if you have a pie or a cake, let's say we have a cake, right? And you have 10 persons that you should share it for equally, right? You have a certain amount that each 10 persons should get. But if that 10 should change to 15, it means that each person will get a smaller slice. So it is similar with the internet, right? Each device will get a smaller slice of the internet, right? Where are we now? We're at number 5. Number 5 is to know the difference between 5 gigahertz and 2.4 gigahertz and know when to use which one. So 5 gigahertz is going to give you faster internet speed, but guess what? The range of the 5 gigahertz is shorter, right? So if this is your router, right, your 5 gigahertz might give you range out to here, while your 2.4 gigahertz might give you Wi-Fi range out to here, right? Big difference. But guess what? The 5 gigahertz one is way faster than the 2.4 gigahertz, right? So most of the devices now use 2.4 gigahertz. So that one is normally overcrowded with device. So in addition to the internet not so fast on the 2.4 gigahertz, more than likely it will be overcrowded, right? So if you have a device that uses 5G, right, it's best to connect to the 5G. Well, you have some more of the more sophisticated router now uses, I'm trying not to get too technical, but most of the modern router these days uses just one signal, right? And you don't have to connect between the 5 gigahertz and the 2.4 gigahertz, right? That automatically happens. But if you realize that you have two bandwidth or two Wi-Fi, two separate Wi-Fi that you have to connect to, whether it may be the 5 or the 2.4, when you're close by, always connect to the 5 gigahertz because that one is less crowded and you'll get faster internet. But as I said before, the range is not very wide, so you have to do that when you're in close proximity to the Wi-Fi router. Number 6, use wired connection where necessary. So if you have your Wi-Fi router here, using a lot of here and here scenarios. Anyways, if you have the Wi-Fi router here, right, and you have your laptop here or your desktop here, right, if you're going to use Wi-Fi to connect from here to there, which is wireless Wi-Fi from here to there, versus if you can use a LAN cable or a Ethernet cable, or you want to call it RJ45 connection, or you want to call it the Cat6, or you want to call it whatever, just know that if you use the wired connection, use the internet cable to connect from the router to the desktop or the laptop or whatever the device may be, just know that you'll get faster internet speed from it, right? So when you use wired connection, you have less obstacle that the Wi-Fi, the wireless Wi-Fi signal has to pass through to reach to that device. So use wired connection where necessary. Also, if it is a device that requires high-speed internet, it's best to use wired connection versus using wireless connection, right? So where it is necessary, use wired connection. We're at number 7, right? Nothing beats a jet, well, it's not Jet 2 holiday. Nothing beats the good old restart. So you're gonna restart your router or your modem, right? Restart as in plugging it out. You can give it a few minutes few seconds should be good, but if you want to overdo it, or if you want to be on the safe side, you can give it a few minutes or even 1-2 minutes, right? 1 minute is good. I normally plug out my devices for like what 5-10 seconds, right? This is also known as power cycling, and this can solve a lot of issues. Trust me. To the guys, not just the guys, to the people that work in the corporate job, and it doesn't have to be corporate jobs only. One of the first thing the IT guys are gonna ask you is if you tried restarting the device. And you might think restarting, but trust me, restarting or power cycling a device can solve more than 50% of the issues that you're having. Because when you do this, the device will basically reset its internal settings, right? Which I'm not going to try to get too technical and get into the engineering of things and all those things, but basically when you plug out the device and plug it in back, it power cycle and it resets and it readjusts and it revitalizes. No, I don't think revitalize is necessary. Anyways, that can solve a lot of problems, especially when the Wi-Fi is plugged in and has been working for a while, right? And you realize that over time it gets slow, right? A lot of the things on this list is for internet that was normal at first, and then over time it starts to get slow. So things like disconnecting unnecessary devices, that's one of them. Things like power cycling, that's one of them. There should be some more on the list that anyways let's jump into the next one. So the eighth one is upgrade your router or modem. Guys, to be honest, one of the main reasons why your Wi-Fi might not be working fast is because your router or your modem is outdated, right? So you can try and upgrade to get a better one. You can choose one that is Wi-Fi 6 or Wi-Fi 6E. That technology is basically up there right now. So that's one thing you can try to increase your Wi-Fi speed. Number 9, keep devices up to date. So you might realize that the internet is just not working fast on a specific device, and a main reason can be, and one of the main reasons could be that the device is not up to date. So whether it may be your cell phone or your computer, if it is not up to date, it can also cause your internet speed. It can cause a lot of things to not work in the way it is supposed to work, which one of them could be your internet access, right? So keep your devices up to date, right? And number 10, which is the final one, well, I think I'm going to give you a bonus, right? But number 10 is to upgrade your internet plan. I mean, you have the same internet and your family grow. I mean, even if your family doesn't grow, your devices grow. You didn't have security camera, but now you have security camera, and now other home security system that is all on the internet. Now you have more devices connected to your internet, your smart home, you have your Alexa, you have your television, you have a lot of things that is now connected to your same internet that you have been using, the same internet plan from 1995. well, not 1995, but you get the point I'm trying to make. So you got the same internet plan from all the way back, right? You might want to upgrade it because you upgrade your devices. You have a lot more devices now, right? So now your demand is greater. So because your demand is greater, it probably is necessary for you to get greater internet speed. So consider upgrading your internet plan. By the way, this list is in no specific order, right? It's in no specific order. And for the router, right? For the router, you could try using a Wi-Fi repeater or getting a Wi-Fi mesh, a mesh Wi-Fi, right? And this is not necessarily if you're having slow internet all around, right? So if you might have a weak Wi-Fi signal in certain parts of your house, you might want to use a Wi-Fi extender to extend the range of the Wi-Fi, right? Or you can take it a step further and get a mesh Wi-Fi, which is much better than the Wi-Fi extender, because the Wi-Fi extender is like getting a completely different, well, it's not a completely different Wi-Fi, but a completely different Wi-Fi signal, right? So it's like, what I'm trying to say is you basically have to disconnect from one and connect to the other, well, manually. But if you have the mesh Wi-Fi, the mesh Wi-Fi is you have different, can I use node? Let's say node, or yeah, different Wi-Fi node. I'm gonna use the term Wi-Fi node. You're gonna have different Wi-Fi nodes at strategic location in the building or the house, whatever it may be, right? The phone is gonna automatically connect, well, not just the phone, the device is going to automatically connect to the one that is near, right? And once it gets closer to a next one, it switches to it automatically. Similar to how your cell phone work with the cell towers, right? Not everyone is going to know how that works, but you notice you don't have to manually disconnect your phone from one cell tower and connect to a next cell tower while you're traveling. So the Wi-Fi, the mesh Wi-Fi works similar to that. So this was how to make your Wi-Fi faster. I hope this list helps someone or help many, right? There are quite a few more things that could have been added to this list, but I try to compact it and list 10 of the main things that can help someone. So take these things into consideration, right, and see which one may be best for you to make your Wi-Fi faster. So this was another video brought to you by Dana's Electrical Services. For more videos like these, please feel free to subscribe to my channel at Dana's Electrical Services. Thank you.